You buy the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. From the Pacific News Center in Hagåtña, Guam, here's Clint Ridgell and Janella Carrera with Betsy Brown and Roselle Romanes. PNC Sports with Blake Watson. And weather with Joanna O. With your news now.
Half a day, good evening, and thanks for tuning in to the Pacific News Center. I'm Clint Ridgell.
And I'm Janella Carrera. Thanks for tuning in. Your top story tonight. The Essers are heaving a sigh of relief now that charges against the woman they believe attacked their baby have been upgraded to felony charges. While it's certainly good news, they say there's still a long road to justice ahead. Baby Alexia Esser was all smiles today, as were her parents, Fred and Alyssa Esser, now that Yu Hua Han has been indicted by a grand jury on felony assault and child abuse charges. Han is believed to be the woman seen in a surveillance video punching Alexia in the face earlier this month at the Micronesia Mall. She was initially charged with only misdemeanors, which drew a lot of public criticism. The Essers say they are relieved that a grand jury agreed that the crime deserves felony charges.
We are ecstatic. It was a long road, but now we feel that we can go from here and hopefully make a difference so that, like I said, she never does this again to another child.
After initially reviewing the evidence, the Attorney General's office felt that because Alexia's injuries were not severe enough, felony charges may not hold up in court, but a second evaluation of the evidence may have helped. The Essers expressed their gratitude to the AG's office.
The lawyers, the investigator, they've been amazing, and they made this happen for us. And so we have to thank them for sure.
But what they are most grateful for is the support of the community. They point out that it was through the help of those who shared the video on social media that police were able to identify a suspect.
We most definitely feel loved. We feel a lot of support from the community on Guam. People we've never even met have been amazingly supportive.
Yeah, we want to thank everyone for the support. We wouldn't be sitting here and feeling right now like we feel if people hadn't supported us.
The Essers believe there is a powerful message and lesson to be taken away from this tragic incident.
There was a spot where I just wanted to give up and blame the system and say it can't work for you, but I think if you speak up, if you leverage the power of social media and let the people that want to help you, they can help you.
Again, Han was indicted on 2 counts aggravated assault as a third-degree felony, 2 counts child abuse as a third-degree felony, and 2 counts each assault and child abuse, both as misdemeanors. She has an arraignment hearing tomorrow at 1 p.m.
The direct flights from Russia to Guam are delayed indefinitely. Bart Jackson from the Hotel and Restaurant Association tells PNC that flights were initially set to resume next month with Yakutia Airlines after Avia Charters ceased flights from Russia to Guam 4 months ago. Jackson blames the weakness in the Russian economy and the Russian currency. He says while lower oil prices are good news for the U.S., it's bad news for the Russians as their economy loses millions of dollars every day. Jackson says beginning next month, expect to see very few, if any, Russian faces on island. He adds that even though there's a lot of demand on Guam from the Russian market, until the Russian ruble stabilizes, they're not coming.
So the Russian ruble against the dollar has gone from about mid-30s to 60. I mean, imagine waking up one day and someone told you that your vacation was going to cost half as much again. You know, instead of your room rate being $100, it's $180. Well, maybe you don't go.
Jackson says the Guam Visitors Bureau is working hard to minimize the effect of losing the direct charter flights from Russia. He says as the island loses out on Russian visitors, he expects the Japan market and the Korean market to boom this year.
Speaking of the Korean market, Korea continues to shine as the island's second largest market, according to the Guam Visitors Bureau's Visitor Arrival Report. To meet the growing demand and following Korean-based airline Jin Air's upgrade to bigger aircraft last month, A second Korean-based airline decided to expand its services. Jeju Air has added twice-weekly flights from Busan, South Korea to Guam, in addition to its daily flights from Seoul. The new flights offered are scheduled for Thursdays and Sundays on their B737-800, which has 186 seats. The company says this is the first time that the carrier will provide flights bound for Guam from a provincial region, not from South Korea's main gateway of Incheon International Airport. Airport Marketing Administrator Rolanda Lujan Faasuamalie says the response has been great. Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association Bart Jackson says with the drop of fuel prices, he also expects airfare prices to drop as well, which means the island can expect to see more Korean visitors.
The shining star of the island has been the Korea market. And this year there'll be 500,000 seats to Guam from Korea. And so we could see numbers still another 20% up from Korea. It's a great market. And so I think overall the pluses from Japan and Korea should more than offset any downturn in Russia with some reasonable Chinese growth.
The Guam Visitors Bureau's visitor arrivals report indicates that the Korean market is up 8.2% when compared to last year's numbers. Jackson says he expects 2015 to be a banner year for tourism in Guam.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is proposing placing 23 species of plants and animals in Guam and in the CNMI under the Endangered Species Act. Here's a look at some of those proposed endangered species.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has reopened their comment period on their proposal to protect 23 species of plants and animals on Guam and the CNMI. Out of this list, several species are endemic. That is, they are only found in Guam or in the CNMI. For example, there's the Hedyotis megalantha, called Paudedu in Chamorro. That's only found on Guam. There are 3 animals that are only found in the Marianas. For example, the Guam tree snail, or Partula radiolata, called Acaleja in Chamorro, is only found on Guam. The Rhoda blue damselfly, or Ischnura luta, is only found on Rhoda. And the Langford's tree snail, or Partula langfordi, also called Acaleja in Chamorro, is only found on Aguiguan. So what's causing these 23 species to become endangered? According to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, there are numerous factors like habitat loss due to development, competition with non-native or invasive species, predation by non-native or invasive animals, climate change, ordnance, and live fire from military training and recreational vehicles. Public meetings about these proposed endangered species will be held on Guam on January the 27th from 5 to 8 p.m. at UOG's Leon Guerrero School of Business and Public Administration Building, Multipurpose Room 129. In Saipan on January the 28th from 5 to 8 p.m. in their Multipurpose Center in Susupi. In Rhoda on January the 29th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the San Apollo Elementary School cafeteria. In Tinian on January the 31st from 9 to 11 a.m. at the Tinian Elementary School cafeteria in San Jose Village.
The public will be allowed to review and comment on these proposed endangered species, and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife will take these public comments into consideration. The public comment period will close on February the 14th.
In response to what seemed like a growing trend of students posting fight videos online, Guam Crime Stoppers, the Department of Education, and local athletes will be touring schools around the island to spread the message about positive behavior. PNC's Rizal Romanes has more in this report.
In the last year, a rash of school fight videos went viral online and shocked the community. As a result, the Guam Crime Stoppers and the Department of Education teamed up with local role models, mixed martial artists Baby Joe the Juggernaut Time and Glow and Kyle Uggan, to end violence among students.
How much life you got? 0. I don't want to see people like you guys get hurt. I don't want to see my own people get hurt. Fighting with each other, hurting each other.
Baby Joe, along with other local athletes, are visiting different schools around the island and speaking to students in hopes of spreading the message about positive behavior.
There's so much potential in each and every one of you guys. I mentioned before, you guys can be the future leaders, our future athletes, representing the island of Guam.
Students were engaged as their role models spoke. Baby Joe says he hopes to inspire the uninspired.
We all need to work together as one. one island, one people, so that our future, not just for you guys, but for your kids later on in 20, 30 years from now, can have something good to look forward to.
The group visited Southern High School and Ocean View Middle School today. Next on their list are Teason High School and John F. Kennedy High School tomorrow. Then they'll visit MU Lujan Elementary and George Washington High School on Friday. For Sal Romanes, PNC News.
All right, thanks, Marcel. Let's see what Blake Watson has in store for sports.
Hey, good evening. Obviously, it's a watery and wet Tuesday. That's why I have my rain jacket. The rain's coming down, but don't worry, it won't dampen our spirits on sports. No, we've got a full-on basketball doubleheader for all you ballers out there, so stick around. Sports is coming up. Be there.